Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Y'all, I'm feeling very glamour model-esque this morning, and I don't know, the hair, though it needs to be colored and cut, is really working with the swoosh today. Like it's working, we're going with it. Also, I did my makeup today in a very soft way, and also it's the filter. Like, you guys are always so complimentary. Even when I feel like a dirty little imposter, you guys are always so supportive. But a big part of the game is filters, okay? When people think my skin looks beautiful, it's a filter, y'all. It's a filter. I promise you, I'm not doing anything mystical or magical. It's I stay out of the sun because I'm a vampire and filters. But like, that's okay. That's not a shame to me. Everything is filtered. Show me unfiltered media in any form and I will call BS on it. Okay, I will. And I'm okay with that. I'm a 32-year-old woman and I am fine. I am fine if my Android 25 Galaxy Plus wants to smooth out a few things, right? So I did do my nails yesterday with gel stickers. So I think I've shared, I've been using gel nails for I think like 3 months now. And I like them, like I bought my own kit. But I had bought some gel stickers when I first bought my gel nail polish because I thought it might be easier. And in some ways it is less messy using the stickers because you just have to put them on and cure them one time. But I will say they have a very thick ledge at the back end that is impossible to perfectly press. And so when I run my fingers through my hair is getting stuck in the back. So I don't want to straight up peel them off right away because that would be horrible for my nails to do. But I don't think they were worth the cute little stickers to do it. But I do like it. I do like the little daisy print on them. I think they look cute. But I'm probably going to go back to my solid colors after this because though they were easier, the thing I love about my gel nails is the fact that they don't smudge, they don't move, and they don't chip very easily. And these are already getting caught on stuff. So anyway, I love them. And they were a fun try. And I may use them if I'm like in a hurry another time because, you know, when you paint your nails with gel and cure it, you are committing to a minimum of a 45-minute process because you're doing 4 layers of nailing and then curing it. But anywho, that's enough of that. That was just me staring at myself and saying how pretty I was and then explaining every little piece of it to you. But you're not here for that. You're here for my monthly wrap-up because we're talking about the July wrap-up, all right? We're going to talk about my stats, some of the fun stuff I did in July, and then we're going to go over the top 5 reads that I read. The reads that I read, the books that I read. And yeah, if you want to see about all the books that I read, there's actually, I think, only like 2 monthly wrap-up or 2 weekly wrap-ups for July because I was gone over the weekend a couple of times. I don't know. Maybe there's 3. But I have all my weekly wrap-ups are always linked up here for you to peruse because in my monthly wrap-ups, I don't talk about every book I've read. I talk about my favorites. But that doesn't mean that I don't ever talk about books that I don't like, okay? Because some people want to say, people only talk about the books they like. Girl, you haven't been around very long if you think that, because I will rant about the books I don't like, I promise you. Though this month, I didn't have anything below a 3 star, so that was cool. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So yeah, it was a good month, July was. I read the same as I read in June, but I read more pages, so that's cool. I went on a little trip up the North Shore with my best friend. We stayed in Duluth and then we drove up the North Shore. We did some fun girly stuff together and we listened to Cinder and Scarlet on our trip, which was so much fun. She has already finished her reread of the whole series, and I was like, girl, I have other books I have to get to first. But we listened to Cinder and Scarlet together in our rental car, which was so much fun. We saw a bunch of beautiful things, got rained out a little bit, but it was a great trip with her. That I think is the last of my like major trips I'm taking this summer. Not that there's anything major, though there is another trip I'm hoping to take this year, which I won't talk about yet, because it definitely depends on how well I do saving for taxes and all that fun stuff. But there is a trip I really want to do. Whether I'll be able to do or not, we will see. But anyway, that's the one that's all for the foreseeable future of busy trips there was. So I'll let you know. But all right, let's get into it. I'm so excited. So I read 28 books in July, which is great. I think I'm at now about 230 books for the year. So not doing too shabby, not too shabby at all, for sure. There was 11,042 pages that I consumed. These books were in the format of, I had 10 advanced listening copies and then 4 other audios on top of that. I had 11 advanced reading copies and then 3 ebooks on top of that. And then 6 physical books that I read. And remember, I do double up on formats sometimes. The subgenres of these books were, I had 13 contemporary, I had 5 dark romances, 1 dystopian, 2 erotic romance, 3 fantasy romance, 1 historical romance, and then there was also 3 that were other. And I'll tell you right now, 2 of those others were Cress and Cinder. I don't put, if they're not adult romance, I don't put them in one of the romance categories, though you could call those sci-fi. They're not technically the romance, though there is some sweet romance that happens in the books. They're definitely not focused on that. And then I also read a autobiography or a memoir. It's more of a memoir of Jeremy Renner this month, because that was my other that I read. And then the ratings of these books were, I had 2 6-star reads. Now, those were both rereads because I reread Brutal Vows and I reread Hold the Line. So no new 6-star reads. But I had 6 5-star reads, 7 4.5-star reads, 6 4-star reads, 5 3.5-star reads, and 2 3-star reads. So on the whole, really good. What I did find really interesting, though, is that is a really wide spread when you think about it. Normally, you know, when you look at it for me, I usually have double digits of like 4-star reads or something like that, you know, but it was very well spread out this time. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what we have. Okay, so then let's get into my 5 favorite books. Now, I will say, I of course didn't plan for this to happen, but 4 of the 5 books were new releases. 4 of the 5 books were, let's be honest, they were contemporary small town romances, basically. Well, maybe not all of them are small town. And they were all like pretty well-known authors. And I didn't do that on purpose. Those were just the books that were speaking to me this month. And then one of them is a dark romance that really kind of surprised me, that I enjoyed quite a bit. But I was a basic bitch this month, you know? And that's just how the cookie crumbled for me this time around. But yeah, so the first one I'll say was Crazy Love by Willow Astor. I gave that 5 stars. This is a series that is 1000% about comfort and coziness, okay? There is never much angst in Willow Astor from what I've seen. She writes heroes that are idealistic and amazing. And this whole series was single dads. So this was the final book in the Single Dads Playbook. I think we're still waiting to see what the next series is that gets announced that she does. because I haven't heard yet. But her books come out pretty regularly, so it'll have to be soon that she announces that, I'm sure. But this one was about adoption too, which I really loved. We have our hero in this who is a football player, and there's a kid that he's been kind of like a big brother character to, and he wants to adopt him because he's not in a great foster home, and he's really pushing to get him. Now, there's been some trouble because he's a single guy, and so that's been a struggle. And so early on in the book, actually, our heroine, who almost had a one-night stand with him at a wedding. And then we come to find out she's actually the coach's daughter and is the new, like, nutritionist who'll be working with the team. So that gets them off to kind of a weird start with one another. But she ends up pretending to be his girlfriend to kind of make him look better to the, I don't know, to the state for adopting this kid. But everything escalates really when the kid is in a rough foster home and things are getting kind of dangerous for him. And so these two end up getting married to give, you know, because a girlfriend, that's not necessarily a super stable thing. And so they literally get married for the kid. And I loved this about the heroine. I'll tell you, I truly loved it because it puts her in a rough spot with her dad. Her dad doesn't love that she was dating this guy all out of the blue. But she was like, I want to do that for this kid because he deserves to have this guy as his dad. And if the only way they're going to let him do that is if he has a girl in his life, which is ridiculous in a lot of ways, she does it. And I love that about them. And then when a little foster sister to this boy is being abused as well, they scoop her right up too. Like, they don't even hesitate. They're like, we're taking her too. We want her. So it's a very idealistic look at it, but it's beautiful, you guys. Like, it is so beautiful and sweet. And I just love how they don't even hesitate. They make these changes in their life for these kids. And so what I also love, though, is that they have this marriage happen, which they want to make happen for sure until he's able to fully adopt the kid. But they're going to be living together and making it seem like they're together. And they don't try to play the game of like, we're not going to sleep together. They're like, we're going to be sharing a room. We're attracted to each other. This is going to be a real marriage. And from pretty early on as well, the hero has it in his mind that he's like, I'm going to convince her to stay. Whereas she definitely wants to be with him too, but she's more thinking like, well, he has a lot going on. I don't want to like push him into more than is, you know, needed from me or whatever. So again, just very selfless, kind people. And those are the type of characters that Willow Aster writes. You know, there isn't anything extra special about these books. There's no extra angst. They're just really good people. And the found family aspect of the single dad's playbook, which none of them are single by the end, is just so great. And it's so loving. And like, it could make me cry if I talk about it too much. And so this is a series that the whole series have ended up on my favorites of the month. And that's just because like Willow Aster writes such idealistic characters, and I don't always want to read that. And sometimes it can come off as cheesy, and I know that it does for some people. I absolutely know that it does for some people. But for me, it just makes me so happy. Like, it gives me so much joy to see it happen. Like, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, that's my feels about it. Okay, that's my feels about it. So, yeah. But anyway, the next one, as I said, we have a lot that'll be these, is Where We Bloom by Kristen Proby. And this is my gorgeous copy that I had pre-ordered from the Novel Grounds. Oh, this one didn't come with a page overlay, but it's so cute. It has little bees on clover in here. Yeah, because we do have an Irish hero. We have a plus-size heroine. And this couple is a part of the Blackwells of Montana. This is actually the brother. This is Connor, who is the brother of the heroine, from book 2 in the series. And then Billy is the sister of the hero from the whole series. I mean, it's all of the Blackwells. And Billy owns a bookstore in Bitterroot Valley. And that's been a dream she's always had. And she also loves thrifting and she loves coffee. And so one of the things we see her do is that I think it's once a month or every other month, she takes a day off and she goes on a trip to a bigger city and she will go thrift at some of these wealthy like areas where they like sell their clothes to or drop their clothes off. So she'll end up finding these like stunning clothes and everything that like wealthy people have just donated and everything. So she always has really fancy clothes and everything. And I respect that game so much. I love it. But yeah, she also is plus size or, you know, curvier or how you do it. And one of these times on this trip, she ends up having a one-night stand with a CEO of Gallagher Hotels, and she doesn't know how she will come to know him. But they have this one-night stand and it's super hot. And then his sister has moved to Bitterroot Valley, which we find out. And she now owns like a dance studio there. And he comes to town regularly to check on her because he's very close with his sister. And his sister has actually survived some pretty like rough stuff that's happened. So he's very protective of her. He's a billionaire. He's a hotelier. He is a wealthy guy. And when he runs into Billy I think he sees her at one of the like dance recitals that they go to for that his sister is holding. And they realize that they've met and now he becomes obsessed and he's finding more and more reasons to go to Bitterroot Valley. So this couple was so hot. He's very possessive and wants her and he hasn't really wanted commitment before, but now he does. And so yeah, he is Irish, he's sexy as hell, and he wants Billy and he goes about pursuing her. And I really like how he just goes about the caretaking aspect. There's something that happens early on where she actually gets drugged when she's out. And he's the one who kind of brings her home to take care of her. And her brother, who's a doctor, which his book is going to be the next one. I'm really excited about it. He actually is like, well, she seems to be safest with you. Just please keep an eye on her for me and all of that jazz and everything. So these two have a really intense relationship. And I love how they balanced each other out. I love how she has a real core strength of who she is. And having as many brothers as she does, she's not afraid to assert herself and what she wants. But she also realizes that he has a real caretaking streak and that it does stress him out to like see her in danger in any way. And so I really like that about him, where he is so possessive and protective, but I also like how she isn't afraid to like push back, but also not to the point where it is tough for him. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, she's strong and independent, but she also understands he's a caretaker and she likes it. He also spoils the hell out of her, which is great too. So yeah, absolutely love this series. I love all of her Montana books, and I missed out on getting the special edition of book 2, and I regret it so much because now I have, although to be fair, they did kind of change up the styling from book to book so they wouldn't look the same anyway. But I have When We Burn and Where We Bloom, but I'm missing out book 2. So I was like, I'm not going to miss out, you know, because they end up making a fun pattern, and like I missed out on not pre-ordering book 2, so I won't miss out this time anymore because I do love these editions, and they don't cost an exorbitant amount is the thing too. I'm really trying to get away from spending too much on special editions. You know, a lot of the ones I get are actually gifted from viewers, which is so kind, like absolutely. But I'm just trying to be careful with how many I buy myself because, you know, limited budget and all that jazz. Okay, then we have The Way We Win by Tia Louise. I feel like I've talked about this book a ton lately, so I won't do it too much here. But this one is book 5 in the Bradford Boys series, and they are a series of brothers who, there is a sister as well, but the Bradford family, they lost their father and mother really close together, and Jack, the oldest brother, really kind of raised the younger siblings, particularly like the youngest child, which was a sister, and he was always like a father figure to them then. Him and his oldest brother kind of like did that. And now this is Jack's story. So Jack is a single dad. He has a daughter who I believe is 8 or 9 years old. His wife left him. They didn't work out. She thought some of his sexual preferences were perverted, though based on who that chick was, I highly doubt that's the only reason it wasn't going to work out with the two of them. Like, just being straight up with y'all, the chick was crazy as it is, you know. But then we have our heroine, who is a single mom, and she was a very young single mom. So her son is actually a senior in high school and is a star player for Jack on the football team. And she's a librarian at the school and is also Jack's little sister's best friend. So there's all these connections between them. Not only is her son his star player, but, you know, he's also like a mentor to him. And she will also take care of his daughter sometime, like when her son is doing football things, so that, like, you know, he's looking out for her son, she's looking out for his daughter type of thing. So there's a really cute relationship between her and the little girl. And then, you know, her son is also very protective of her, but also really looks up to Jack. So there's just all of this in there. And then we add in a bit of a suspense element, which is her ex has been in prison until recently. And he's just got out and he's been making threats. And honestly, one of the things I love so much is that the heroine doesn't like mess around with that. Like, she tells her friends and family there, which they're all her friends. She sees them as family. She tells them the danger that it could be. And one of the Bradfords is actually a police officer. So he's like, we are going to keep an eye out on it. This guy is not supposed to leave the state. But when you have an obsessed abuser, like, he's going to follow the laws, you know, like, that's always something that's frustrating because, you know, there's no guarantee he's going to follow the law. So why are we assuming he will, you know, like that type of thing. He hasn't shown himself to be the smartest tool in the shed, as it were, you know? So there's that. But yeah, I just really loved their relationship. It is like kind of hidden in the beginning, but they form this really great bond. She's also into some of the kinky things he likes because she is a very intelligent reader, as it were. And I love some of the subtle kinky things they do. It's not over the top by any means, but I just really enjoyed how it was shared with us. So I really loved that one. The audiobook was excellent. That is actually how I read the arc of this, was through that. And as I've said, I actually began using Home Cooked Books promo because of this book. That is who the author was using for their promo, and it got me into listening with them, which I liked. Okay, then we have the dark romance that fits in here. We'll squeeze that one in, which is Drawn to Darkness by Michelle Hurd. So this was book 4 in the Kings of the Mafia series, and this one, the author kind of promoted it as the lighter one of the series, though I would say how the characters meet is lighter, but the end of the book still packed a punch. This is a dark romance. It's a mafia romance, so be prepared. Now, our heroine is in a very financial unstable position, something a lot of us can relate to. It's very stressful to see. And our hero is, how do I like word this? It's so weird. He's a member of the Cosa Nostra, one of the heads of it, but he also is a connoisseur of the art. So he actually like owns a dance studio that he funds it, and he has dancers who work for his company there, and he has like a dance master and like all of these things. And our heroine becomes a janitor at this place. And at night, she'll take her break from cleaning and dance in one of the rooms. Like, that's how she'll get off steam. She also works like 2 other jobs as well. She has a mother who's addicted to drugs, who is always coming and like messing with her. And really the only person in the world that she has who looks out for her is her neighbor, who is this older black gentleman who is like her big brother / father figure all in one. She eventually even like calls him dad, which I could cry. We won't go there, but he has her back. But he's the only one. She lives in a really dangerous place. Her mother will sometimes break into her home and like steal from her what little she does have. But she catches the eye of her hero, who's working there late one night, And again, he enjoys his dance studio and the arts and everything, which makes him, you know, just different from the other mafia dons. And he sees this woman dancing, and he watches her one night, and he doesn't know that she is his janitor. And a few different times he watches her, she like escapes away from him, and he wants to find out who she is. And eventually he does kind of like pin her down, and they have a really hot scene together when that happens, but she doesn't say who she is, because for her, she's afraid she might lose her job, or she's afraid he'd be angry, or these things, and she really can't afford that. But he eventually kind of like wears her down and starts like winning her over, and then he just wants to take care of her. Now, as I said, this does get very dark in the end. He does have some enemies who want to use her against him, so definitely check the trigger warnings the author has listed for it. Human trafficking would be part of one of those, just to put out there. But truly, this was a beautiful story. It was a really quick audiobook. That's how I've been reading this whole series, is using the audios. I've been working my way through Michelle's backlist when I have the time, and I just enjoyed this couple so much. They were really sweet. It was a beautiful romance. And yeah, I recommend the whole series, but this one is number 4. Really the only thing that's spoiled is like who the couples are, but number 1 is still probably my favorite in the series, but I've liked them all, and I gave this one 4.5 stars as well. It was really good. Okay, and then the last one I want to mention is Against All Odds by Corinne Michaels. So back to a recent release. I know, like I said, I was a basic bitch this month. Okay, I can't help it. I had a lot of rereads that were the 5-star ones I talked about, and I don't like to put my rereads as a favorite of the month unless it's like a really old one I'm rereading, right? Though I do still honorable mention, shout out Cinder and Scarlet. I know I sold a bunch of you on reading that after my last weekly wrap up, and I stand by it. Like, those books are so freaking good. They're so good. Highly recommend. But Against All Odds was the most recent release from Corinne Michaels, and this one is a surprise baby, but it's not his baby. It's also a second chance romance. So how does that get set up? So our heroine and the hero dated when they were in high school, and when they went away to college, things didn't end up working out. She was afraid of being kind of like, it's hard to say, but he was going to be was he football is what he was doing? And she was afraid that she would give up her own dreams for him. She was young. It's okay for her to be worried about that. You know, that's okay feeling to have. And so she was worried about kind of losing herself to him, as it were. Well, things went a little bit sideways in that she ended up falling for a guy in school who ended up becoming a actor, and she completely became second fiddle to that guy and had to put off her dreams for him, and they never ended up having a child, which is something she really wanted. And in the beginning of this book, she's discovered that he's cheated on her in a very public way. Actually, the woman that he cheats on her with leaks the cheating out there, so she's completely humiliated. This mistress is trying to force him into a divorce type of thing. They're not going to be long for this world, that's for sure. So she ends up going home to her small town, and one of the heroes, I think it's his friend, yeah, because they're not brothers, is the principal for the school, and she is a teacher. So she gets a job doing a short-term teaching, like a year-long contract to be a teacher there. And our hero is actually a veterinarian now because he ended up getting injured and not staying in the sport for a very long time. And now they are living close to each other again. Our hero has never ended up leaving the small town because, was he injured, or was it like, I know there was an issue with his parents. His dad died, the mother was injured, and because of it, she had a traumatic brain injury that's kind of pushed her into almost an Alzheimer's-like disease. And so he really is the sole caretaker of his mother, and so he's never left town, and he also hasn't wanted to fall for a woman because he has all his walls up. He has all the reasons why he didn't want to fall for someone. I'm sure you can see some of those, you know. But yeah, I was really moved by his choices and the sacrifices he made. I thought were really brave and really self-sacrificing that he did. So anyway, they're not going to get together. They're like, no, we must resist. I'm only going to be here for a year. We don't want to. But very quickly, they start to fall for each other again. And the hero is like, you know what? I want to make this girl mine. Like, I never should have let her go before. I'm going to make it work, you know? And then she finds out she's pregnant, which is terrifying to her also because her ex-husband, well, he's not even her ex-husband yet. He's still her husband. He is all about his image, so she has no idea how he's going to react, but she knows she wants this baby. She's always wanted a baby, and it never happened for them before. And she's like, I don't want to raise the baby with you. You don't love me. You cheated on me, but I'm not going to give up this child. And she doesn't expect our hero, of course, to want anything to do with that. She's like, you have your own struggles. You have life going on. I'm not trying to get in the way of that, but here's what's going on. And he is like, girl, I always wanted a family with you. And I don't care who put that baby in there. I'm going to be here to love and support you and this child. And I love it. Okay, we love to see it. Love to see a man stepping up that way. It's beautiful. And yeah, it was fantastic. So I love a not his baby romance. I love accidental pregnancy, but make it a not his baby and have him be obsessed about it. I'm all for it. Absolutely. So, all right, there you go. Those are the 5 favorites that I had in July. Let me know which books you liked the most. I would love to hear that. I have a new wish list that I wanted to share about. One that is for supplies and things I need for my business. So if you know, I always feel so blessed whenever anyone sends books my way, but if you'd like to support my business in a one-time support type of thing or whatever, you could check that out. As well as you can simply like this video, share it with someone, comment down below. That also helps. But there's a lot of different things that help keep my small business going, and that's just one way you can support me there as well. I will also have, I want to put this out there, I will also have the next annotated pre-order going up next week. I'll probably have it open by Wednesday, and it'll be open like Wednesday to Saturday to get a annotated book for me. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Follow my channel. Check out either you can follow my Patreon for free. You do not have to be supporting monetarily, and I always post the link there first for anyone who follows me on Patreon to get to. But also if you follow my community page, that is where I put the updates for that stuff. So thank you so much for watching, friends. It means the world to me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.